The right brain hemisphere and the alpha brain frequency. Introduction. It is very simple to be in charge of your feelings and emotions. To take control of your own thoughts and imagination. To save time, energy, effort, unnecessary thinking. If you simply learn how to use the right side of your brain. Yes, your right brain hemisphere. So how this works? Before we go any further, first we need to know this basic information about the human brain to understand how it works. These are very simple facts. Does not require medical degree or certain level of education. The human brain is divided into two parts. The left side hemisphere and the right side hemisphere. Both hemispheres are connected at the center by a small connecting tissue which allows circulation of information between the two sides. Actually, each side of the brain controls the opposite side of the body, that is to say the right brain side controls the left side of the body and vice versa. Your right hand and right foot are controlled by your left brain side. These are facts based on science. With scientific advances, many devices have been invented which allows to scan brains to measure brain waves and frequency. Famous device called EEG. In short of electroencephalography, which is a test that measures electrical activity in the brain using small, metal discs, electrodes, attached to the scalp. In fact, the brain cells communicate via electrical impulses and are active all the time, even during a sleep. This activity shows up as wavy lines on an EEG recording. Basically, there are four main brain activity. When we are in very deep sleep state, called delta wave. When we are sleeping, called theta wave. When we are relaxed and intelligent, called alpha wave. When we are very active and intense, called beta wave. So our goal in this research paper is to learn more about this alpha brainwave. How it is connected to the right side of the brain. Why is the majority of people in the world are using only their left side of the brain? Chapter 1. The right brain hemisphere. The benefits of using right brain side and the consequences of left brain hemisphere. What we can get in benefit from this knowledge and from this practice to learn how to use our right brain hemisphere. As mentioned in the introduction, the human brain is divided into two parts. Left side, which is emotional, and right side, which is more logical. By default, your feelings and emotions. Your memories and experiences are registered and stored in the left side of your brain, which is referred to as the emotional part. So by force of habit, the majority of people think only using this left side. That is why most of their judgments, decisions, attitude, and behavior are based on past memories, old emotions, past images, past ideas and thoughts. Now when you start to think consciously with the right side of the brain, you will be able to see things, people and events as they are and in their original form and purpose. The essence of things. The truth of objects. Examples of cigarettes, alcohol drinks, hard drugs, fashion clothes, fancy objects. Not by designated names. Not by marketing images. Not by impressions and feelings, but as they are. You will see any situation in the present moment without past feelings and old emotions. Without prejudices. Without attitudes. Without conflicts. Time goes on. Things changes, but people keep seeing things from the past. Old point of views. Old memories. From the left side of their brain hemisphere. So how this works and how it affects our judgments. Your memories keep playing over and over like songs. This is overthinking. This exhausts lots of energy and time. It prevents you from living in the present moment. To make clear decisions. Your brain is simply like a cassette player, a record player, a memory holder. Only a tool, a device. It is not intelligent. Independent individual. People do not talk to a cassette player to a TV set. You can spend your entire life asking a memory recorder to play different thoughts, but it cannot. You can wait your entire life for a change, but it won't happen. Again, your brain is a machine to be used, to be told what to do. Your brain cannot operate by its own. It needs a driver, an operator. The right order is mind, brain, body. The mind is the master. If someone gave control to body over the mind, then there will be conflicts and divisions. Some people use drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, violence, food, sex, clothes, gifts to change the content of their mind, but sooner or later the old feelings, emotions and memories will be back and will take over your attention and thoughts. Some people even goes very far and start to hurt themselves by inflicting pain on their body. This is very stupid, as you cannot knock out an idea. You can't strike a thought. This is not boxing or karate. Your enemy is not the brain, but the content inside your brain. In Chapter 2 we will find out more details how this works. How to practice this technique the right way. This message is not an invitation to change the content of your thoughts and beliefs. To change your convictions. To change your culture. Your tradition. It is a message to show you how this process works. How the brain functions. How you can be in charge and control of your feelings, emotions, and thoughts. This message is not an authority. An instruction. This is an open discussion. An invitation to ask questions, to investigate, and to find out by yourself. We grow up in schools following up what we are told blindly without questioning. To follow up others without investigating and without questioning. Even after adulthood, people still continue this old habits. People adopted this process from childhood. To believe in authoritative figures blindly and to trust documents printed back on white without questioning its contents. The brain is very habitual and very addictive. Once it adopts a habit, it becomes difficult to give it up. The brain always looking for comfort. Once facing difficulties, it seeks solace in fantasies and in imaginations. Even if it's not real. Even if it is for a short period of time. Even if it is at the cost of body. This is an open discussion. A study based on modern tools which allow researchers to scan thousands of brains. To measure its frequency. To locate areas which are more active, muscles, nerves and neurons in the brain. To process and test brain chemistry and so on. It is very strange how people spend endless time watching horror videos, violent scenes, bad news, but when it comes to their well-being and goodness, they won't tolerate any new ideas and thoughts. People spend more money on entertainment and on things which only hurts them both physically and mentally, but they won't allow time to read and explore new studies and researches. Chapter 2. The right brain hemisphere. Practice, practice, practice. Knowledge only can't make changes. Knowing a fact is not enough until it is done. Modern time is all about information. But people find it very hard to apply this information. With modern tools like mobile phones, child accumulate more knowledge than an adult back in time before the internet revolution. Everything is at the tip of your fingers, but few only are in charge. In charge and in control of their feelings, emotions, thoughts, and impulses. People say I cannot help it. I know it's bad, but I feel helpless. I feel strong impulses, strong emotions, continuous thoughts and images keep pushing me over and over towards addictions, towards things I don't want to do or away from things I want to do again and again until I surrounded to those wishes and desires. Sooner or later those impulses and thoughts comes back over and over while driving, while eating, while walking, while working, while trying to rest, and even in dreams. The only moments of quietness and peace are those when people are totally unconscious or totally occupied, but again cannot remain in these states all time. Even people on drugs, alcohol, dancing, eating, mating, fighting need a break to sober up, to digest, to rest, otherwise people will cease to function from overdoses. What if there is a natural way to learn how to use your mind to be in charge and in control of your wishes and desires? People are informed constantly what to do in theory and not how to do it in practice. How it works is the key here. What if you can use your own body as a supplier without any need for external providers like big pharmaceutical corporations, famous public figures, and big media platforms? Please be reminded that this is an open dialogue between two mutual friends to share, to ask, to question, and to discuss. This is not an authority and instruction to claim my knowledge and method is better than yours. I know and they don't know. You have and they took away from you. This is not an invitation to change the content of your thoughts and beliefs, to follow certain rules and regulations, to break the law, or to offend others. This is rather a research paper based on informations and technologies available in our times, which shows more accurate details. For example, a cheap modern sports watch can easily tell a person's heart rates, body temperature, calories and fats, blood pressure, and so are modem brain scanners, which actually shows that the majority of people have their left side brain part more active and dominant over their right brain hemisphere. Chapter 3. The right brain hemisphere. Observation without distortions and division. What do you know about the placebo effect? Some patients at hospital are given sugar pills instead of real medical bills. The majority of them reported that their pain went away and they feel much better. What do you think happened here? It is believed that the subconscious mind, that is to say the mind where all your memories, feelings and thoughts are stored, is more powerful and more dominant over the conscious mind. Why is that? Because the subconscious mind cannot make the difference between what is real and what is imagined. Try to visualize anything and you will see that your body will respond to images as if they are real. This is why in most advertisements, companies use visual effects to allure you unconsciously. Women's body has been used intensively to such purposes. According to Google Data Research Center, over 25% of the internet content is of adults' graphic content. This is called the power of the visual. How can you protect yourself against such tricks and illusions knowing that your brain follows only what is visual? Is it possible to feel impulses and strong muscle contractions in stomach and chest and simply ignore them? Is it possible to experience heavy breathing and overheating and simply watch them as they fade away? How can you become more aware, more conscious, and more present? Many people suffer from mind wandering, from overthinking, and lack of concentration. Although they know, but they can't help it. Eventually they end up responding and surrounding to images and thoughts. Other people claim to be smarter by using substitutes and alternatives, but eventually it's an escape mode, whether good or bad, whether for short or long period of time. Yes, you can. You won't need any external help. You don't need to find alternatives. To pretend to ignore or to wait until those undesired feelings and emotions, involuntary impulses and thoughts to pass away and to wish it won't be back anytime soon. Let's find out how this is possible. How you are actually doing it all time, but unconsciously. Once you become aware of this mechanism, you will be able to use it consciously and to master it according to your needs and satisfaction. What do you do when you usually frequent bad people or undesired situations? What will happen if you gave them your full attention? Do you respond to anything offensive you meet in the street? How much energy and time you will need to answer any thoughts and feelings that comes to your mind? So how this works? Does anyone know from where these thoughts and feelings come from? How it surfaces and become visual? Who send those impulses and contractions to your muscles? The brain controls the functions of the body and store all informations, memories, feelings and experiences. It is believed that by the age of 7 years old, people would have been already programmed and taught unconsciously most of their belief system and convictions, which include language spoken, traditions and customs and habits. These are deeply registered and stored in subconscious mind, and it will shape personality inwardly forever. Furthermore, outwardly, physically, most of immune system and resistance will also be developed permanently. Even if people grow up, these old memories and feelings will come first, and if not monitored and observed consciously, it will always dominate judgment and decisions. Is it possible to erase any unwanted old memory and feeling? Is it practical to delete an event happened in the past? Of course not, and if this happens, this is called amnesia. Memory lost. Maybe in future, it will be fantastic if technology will allow people to delete unwanted memories and feelings and to keep only the ones they need and they like. But until then, let's find out how we can maintain those memories and thoughts as part of our personality and learn how to monitor them and how to simply observe them consciously as they arise without any conflicts, without distortions and division. Chapter 4. The Right Brain Hemisphere. The Monitor System. We all have a monitor system to observe and control all aspects in our life. In fact, everything in the world have a monitor system, otherwise, without such system, everything will go on into chaos. So how does this monitor system work, and how can we make the best use of it? Example of language. Everyone use monitor system while speaking. High and medium and low. When applying high monitor system, we observe and control the use of words according to situation and circumstances. We apply strict grammatical rules and regulations. We choose our words carefully. In different circumstances, we simply don't pay attention to what we are saying without respect to rules and regulations. We lower our monitor system. This is done consciously or unconsciously depending on personal education, traditions, and environments. What if we become aware and conscious about our monitor system? What if we develop it and apply it consciously? Human language system is very complex. It is processed inwardly through complex network of neurons inside our brains and outwardly through complex impulses and contractions of muscles in lungs, lips and vocal cords, and yet we can be in charge of the words we say and we can monitor them as per our wishes and desires. This is possible through education, through repetition and imitation, through observation and experience and repletion. Again, observation, experience, and repetition. This is how we have learned mother language at early age, and this is how we have taught ourselves other things about life, whether consciously or unconsciously. Can you hear a joke while using your right brain hemisphere? It won't be a joke anymore, but a situation and a problem which requires a solution. How people use their brain makes big difference. There is no difference between ordinary people and genius people. Genius people use their brain in different way. Their brain is wired and connected differently. An ordinary person brain will fire intensely over simple things like food, clothes, toys, while other person brain will see them without feelings and emotions as objects and tools. Some people suffers from over shopping. They can't help it while inside shopping malls to buy things which they don't need, if not they already own many of them. Other people can't help it the moment they smell their favorite food or when they see their beloved person. Even if they try to resist the urge, but they are overwhelmed by strong muscle contractions, impulses, and continuous stream of thoughts and images. This is really overwhelming both internally and externally. So, would it be wise to surrender to any thoughts and impulses? Would it be safe to fight your own wishes and desires? Would it be smart to spend more and more in alternatives and means of escape? Is it even possible to escape from oneself? Of course not, and not even in dreams. Is it possible to just observe those emotions, feelings, thoughts, images and impulses consciously as it starts to rise and take shapes and forms without identification, without distortions, with division and without conflicts as they faded away? Is it possible to shift your attention towards your right side of the brain? Is it possible to breathe slowly and deeply from your nose the same way when you are usually relaxed? Is it possible to gently relax your hands and shoulders the same way when you are trying to rest? Of course it is possible. You don't need any external resources and help. You can use your own supplies. Anytime, anywhere, any way you like. In the next chapter, we'll explore together how this works. Chapter 5. The Right Brain Hemisphere. Happiness and Intelligence. There is an old saying, "Give me a child until he is 7 years old, and I will show you the man." Unfortunately, most of memories, feelings and thoughts has been programmed and stored deeply in our brain at an early age, before we gain consciousness. Education, traditions, customs, rules, regulations, and even our body response to outside environment has been registered deeply in the brain. Some scientists call this area in the brain the unconsciousness mind. 95% of the information comes from this area. This helps the body to function without interruptions. There are over trillions and trillions of organisms living inside body and working simultaneously. All these are happening unconsciously. However, there are only few functions which human can do consciously. As highlighted earlier, the unconscious mind cannot make difference between what is real and what is imagined. The unconscious mind is a machine, a memory storage, a record player. If someone is lucky enough and had a good childhood programming by family, society, and environment, this is fantastic. Other children who had been abused, who had been told they are not worthy, they are stupid, and they don't deserve, will always find it difficult even with their highest degree of education or their bank account balance. Even if surrounded by love and care, they will always be in fear to lose that love and privilege someday. They will always be afraid of darkness, of those creatures used to scare them, of those authorities used to command them to go to bed or to do their homework. Later on, children starts to learn consciously by imitation and repetition of what others with authority told them what to do. So the whole process which shape personality and character is somehow done unconsciously, if not unwillingly. This might create certain conflicts at some point in life when people want to find out who they really are and what are the things they really want to do. Of course, a child needs to be taught. This is how life works, but let's not get into this debate and focus on things we can do to take control and be in charge of unwanted feelings, thoughts, and images which limit both physical and mental functions and prevent any kind of development. Chapter 6. The right brain hemisphere. Alpha brainwaves and observation. Let's summarize point by point what we have discussed and have an open dialogue between two friends without any distortion and authority. As discussed earlier, memories, feelings, images and emotions are stored in the left side of the brain. We have been programmed unconsciously at an early age and we don't have a hand in it. Later on, we have been manipulated consciously by authority via repetition and imitation. The purpose of this research paper is not to change and modify the content of those memories and thoughts, but rather to show you new perspective from where you can see them without conflict and distortions. When television was introduced first time, people used to be shocked by scenes on the screen. They laughed, scared, dreamed and cried while watching their favorite show and movies. Later on, people became shock-proof to those scenes, and it requires more visual effects to make those images more real and vivid. What if you simply watch your memories and images and thoughts without identification and without engagement as they arise, consciously knowing that this is not you but your old programming and your memories inside the unconscious mind? What if you become more and more aware of those thoughts and images and just observe them from your right side of the brain without emotions and feelings, without conflicts and divisions as they fade away, and instead use your right brain hemisphere to visualize the things you want to do in full details and in all colors? Your left brain will always pull you backwards towards old memories and thoughts as it has been programmed. It will always tool initiative and be the first to project those images and feelings and thoughts every time you are about to start something new and unknown, in order to push you back to the past, to the old habits, to the things you are familiar with, to the safety. Does it make you sad and lonely thinking about those memories and feelings? It should not. This is not you. This is your unconscious mind, your left side of the brain in action, playing over and over memories and projecting images. The soonest you become aware and conscious, the better. The more you use your right side of the brain, the better. Otherwise, those feelings and images will be developed into nerves impulses and muscles contractions, into blood pressure, heavy breathing, and sweating, which will take further time and effort to calm down yourself inwardly, if not this already took you into action of conflicts outwardly. Do you know that it took about 20 minutes for the body to remove those aggressive hormones released into the main bloodstream during conflicts? This is why it is advisable to allow a person this much time to calm down. The brain cycles down slowly from the highest frequency beta, which is 20 cycles per second, fight and flight mode, to alpha 10 cycles per second, calm and relaxed mode, to theta 5 cycles per second, sleeping and dreaming mode. How can we cycle down brainwaves to alpha frequency, and how can we remain there? As highlighted earlier, modern technologies allow scientists to measure and locate with accuracy everything happening inside brain. Nowadays, a simple sport watch can tell many facts about your state of the body and current health condition, internally like blood pressure and externally like temperature and heart rates, with more accuracy. Once you know more facts about the brain and once you understand how it works, you will be able to invent and practice consciously methods or techniques that suits your needs accordingly. You will be able to judge by yourself what others are claiming to be better for you. You will see all forms of authority as they are without previous conditioning and programming. You will develop strong monitor system which filters consciously all incoming and outgoing feelings, thoughts and images. However, as mentioned earlier, knowledge by itself cannot make changes. Practice and experiments make changes. The reason behind the choice of right brain hemisphere technique is its simplicity and affordability. You are your own supplies and you don't have any dependency on outside resources. You can practice it all time and in anywhere. In fact, this is your own brain, you own memories and feelings. Once you apply outside resources, there will be division, separation, and conflicts. Outside resources create dependency, addiction, fear, and worries. How to use your right brain hemisphere. How to activate this area and how to reach the alpha brainwaves. It's very simple. You can use the same process your left side brain does to pull you backwards to your old memories and thoughts and feelings. That is to say, visualization and impulses. How you can use visualization. Try to visualize in full details and in all colors anything you have or you did using only your right side of the brain. You can visualize places and objects you are familiar with, like your room, clothes, car, and neighborhood. Better if you can close your eyes and see them in full details and in colors using only your right brain side. Right brain side is a muscle same as your left hand side. At first you will find it difficult, but with practice it gets easier. You can bring your full attention to right brain side and focus on it while visualizing and picturing in full details and in colors anything you want. This is possible and anyone can do it. Many people start using their left hand and left foot side later on in life by practice and repetition. Even some people who lost their hands learned to use their foot instead to eat and even to write with it. People are always trying to calm down their brain by all means of entertainment and escape. But why the left brain hemisphere is always pulling backward towards old memories, habits, feelings, and emotions. Furthermore, the left brain sends strong impulses to muscles in sensitive areas like abdominal and head to prevent any changes and to maintain those old habits and addictions. Your left brain side will generate images from your worst fears and worries deeply stored in your subconscious mind and project them to the surface to your consciousness. Vivid images, scenarios, scenes, dialogues, questions, and conversations to keep you inside the left side area. What can be done here and what is the best strategy to escape this more? Is it by surrendering to all wishes and desires? Is it to enter into division and conflicts? Is it to have the most expensive and difficult means of escape? Although many facts about the human brain has been discovered and discussed, knowledge by itself is not a means to an end. Knowing what to do is not enough. Knowledge is not useful until it has been put into results. Then aware and conscious, trying hard, doing your best might be your first step, but it should not be for the sake to clear your consciousness, to claim that your part has been done, you have fulfilled your share. People derive more satisfaction from doing anything. Could it be part of your programming to do just for the sake of doing? Could it be part of your conditioning to clear your consciousness just by taking action no matter what and no matter what for? This would be up to you. You are your own master. You are the authority. With the right knowledge and preparation, you can figure it out, which leads to the notion that you have complete freedom of choice and you and yourself are responsible for your actions. You would not blame it to society and environment programming. So is possible to take such tremendous responsibility knowing the fact that you have no hand in such conditioning, and is it possible to take back your awareness and consciousness and make the best of it? Let's take dreams for example to illustrate these facts about the left side of the brain, the emotional part, clearly. According to Wikipedia, a dream is a succession of images, ideas, emotions, and sensations that usually occur involuntarily in the mind during certain stages of sleep. This is exactly what your left brain hemisphere is doing when you are awake. Some refer to this state as daydreaming. How you respond to this state of mind makes a big difference. During state of sleep, your body responds unconsciously to those images, emotions, and memories, but when you are awake you have the choice and the ability to become aware, conscious and present by simply observe them without distortions, conflicts, and divisions as they faded away. Any attempt to answer and respond to them will always result in further divisions and conflicts. How you do that is very simple and is the reason behind the choice of this technique. You can simply shift your attention and focus completely towards your right side of the brain as if your life depends on it. This is the logical area of your brain where there are no feelings, no memories, and no emotions and thoughts dictated by authorities, but only things as they are in their original format and purpose, without labels and without names and without images given to them by authorities, by those in power. People all over the world interpret dreams and events differently according to their background, according to their conditioning and programming. Such knowledge includes folktales, superstitions, traditions and customs passed on over time, generation to generation. Everyone claims to know. People always say mine is better than yours, I have and you don't, and of course this division leads to distortions and conflicts. As highlighted earlier, this essay purpose is not an attempt to change the content of your thoughts, memories and feelings, but rather an invitation to discuss and investigate between two friends how this process works without authority and division. Do you remember your dreams? How much details you remember? By answering this question, you can learn more about how your brain works, how you can make the best use of your right brain hemisphere, and how to enter into the alpha level state of mind. People usually report remembering their dreams when they are completely relaxed, like when taking a shower or when taking a break out in the garden, relaxing with eyes closed. In technical terms, this happens when your brain cycles down to alpha brainwaves, 10 cycles per second. This is the state where you want to be all the time, where your brain is calm and relaxed, and where you can think clearly, make good decisions, and simply carry on with your daily life. To cycle down your brain waves is very simple. You won't need external help, outside resources, or ideal environment and perfect timing. How you think some people don't panic during difficult situations? They remain calm and concentrate while others become overwhelmed by strong emotions and thoughts. The difference between the two here is the way they use their brain. Either from their left side of the brain, that is to say the emotional area, or the right side of the brain, the logical area. Could anyone fall asleep while the brain is intense and highly active? Of course not. In technical terms, to fall asleep the brain needs to cycle down to lower frequency 5 cycles per second, which is theta wave, and to enter into deep REM sleep where dreams happen, the brain needs to cycle down further to delta wave between 0.5 to 5 cycles per second. All these details can be tested and measured by medical devices. More advanced devices are also able to measure hormones released into the main bloodstream depending on state of mind. What we are interested in here is the alpha brainwaves and the right side of the brain. How to activate them and how to remain in that state all the time and in anywhere using simple, affordable techniques. Just simply shift your attention towards your right side of the brain the same way you want to use your hand or foot. If this is difficult, try to feel your right eyebrows or your top right forehead. Feel it and see it with your eyes closed, and slowly try to remember and visualize anything you have or you did in full details and in all colors. If an object, try to see it clearly and vividly. Try to manipulate it as you like. This is your imagination, and you can do anything you want. Of course, your left brain hemisphere will always interfere and pull you backwards towards old memories and thoughts using vivid images, impulses and dialogues where you have experienced strong feelings and emotions, but as advised, simply observe and watch them without identification and push forward your attention towards your right side of the brain. This is simple mechanical process. It gets easier over time, the same way you have learned how to use your right hand and foot. Does it make you sad to see those memories and images projected by your left brain hemisphere? Of course not. This is not you. This is like dreams. You can't identify yourself with them. This is your conditioning and programming. Ideas and thoughts dictated by authorities while you were unconscious and unaware. You don't have a hand in it. The majority of your conditioning happened before the age of 7 years old, before you can tell difference between what is real and what is imagined. This brings us to the fact that the brain cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. Is it safe to expose your brain to any images knowing the fact that the language your brain uses and understands is images? What happens when you consume bad food? Eventually you will get stomach pains. Once you expose your brain to bad images, which includes violence, fear, and overexcitement, you actually help to overstimulate your emotional brain area. This confuses further your logical perception. Over time your brain will be obliged to lower the monitor system standards and even to shut down your immune system to allow your body to accept and entertain any kind of feelings and thoughts. Let's see the famous example of cigarettes and alcohol. In the beginning, before the addiction, the body reacts violently to those foreign components, but as soon as your mind accepts the idea of smoking and drinking via good marketing images, the body follows the mind. The brain stops fighting those toxins and starts to produce rewarding hormones instead. Over time, the body of course will pay the price. The brain will have to produce more and more rewarding chemicals, but at a certain point the body will give up. This is how addiction works. This would be the consequences of entertaining emotions, images, thoughts, and feelings projected by your left side of the brain. During military exercises, soldiers sing in the muds and the cold. The unconscious mind cannot make the difference between reality and imagination. It thinks this situation is okay. If you hate to go to work and you sleep over this idea, the next morning you will wake up tired with flu and cold pain. The unconscious mind simply follows your wishes and desires. A student entering classroom hating the subject will eventually fall asleep during the season. The difference between genius and ordinary people is genius people simply use their mind in different way. Genius people operate their brain from the right side hemisphere and their brains vibrate frequently at alpha brainwaves. Knowing these simple mechanical facts, you can learn how to use your brain the right way.